Today on our 2012 Ford F53 chassis, we're going to be installing Roadmaster's rear anti-sway bar, part number RM-1139-149. This sway bar works in conjunction with your factory sway bar to further eliminate sway. The additional diameter and extra strength of the beam will help to eliminate any rocking back and forth from uneven terrain by pulling the vehicle back to center and upright. What this means for you is you'll have less driver fatigue. If the vehicle is not rocking back and forth as much as it used to, you have less compensation at the steering wheel to maintain proper safe direction of the vehicle. So when you get to your destination, you'll have more energy to do the things you enjoy doing. It's easy to install, there's no drilling required. We'll show you how to do that now. We'll begin our installation at the rear of the vehicle on the driver's side rear wheel well. We've gone ahead and removed the tires because it'll make the installation easier, however it's not necessary. But for video purposes, having the wheels removed will make it easier to see where we're going to be working at. Just above your leaf spring behind the rear axle, we're going to be removing the two bottom bolts here for our cross frame member. We're going to use a 21mm socket to remove those. We'll then take our brackets, slide them into place, and reinstall our hardware. On the back side of our bolts, there was a nut that has a weld plate on it. This weld plate will catch the frame, so that way you don't need to put any wrench or anything on it to hold it while you're tightening or loosening it up. We'll need to thread those back on. We can then torque our hardware to the specifications found in our instructions. We'll repeat that same installation on the other side. And now we're going to be removing all the nuts on the bottom side of our U-bolts that holds our axle up. Now if you do one side at a time, the axle will hold itself into place. However, I still recommend for safety purposes that you put jack stands, and I even have a jack under there, just providing a little bit of extra support, because we don't want it to drop down because it's a very heavy component. It can be difficult to reinstall. We'll be removing all these nuts with a 1 1/8 inch socket. I like to leave one nut slightly threaded on to keep the plate from falling all the way off, because that plate's pretty heavy too and you don't want to smash your fingers. We'll now install our plate. You want the small holes here that juts out on our bracket to be towards the rear of your vehicle and towards the inside, towards the center. You want to make sure you support the bracket here. Take the one you had on holding that up, off. Continue to support it. Slide your additional bracket on. And then reinstall the nuts. Then you can tighten your hardware back down. You want to go back and forth and tighten it evenly. We can now torque our hardware to the specifications in our instructions. We can now prepare our sway bar for installation. We'll take both of our bushings. We're going to use some of the grease that is supplied with the kit and smear it on the inside of our bushing all the way around. Now we can install our bushings onto our sway bar. Those just slip right around it. We want to kind of position those towards the outside. You can then put some more grease on the outside of your bushings. And set your brackets on top. We'll now take the shorter bolts that come in our kit. We're going to slide a flat washer on it, and we're going to drop that down through the rearmost hole and through our bracket. On the bottom side, we're going to place on a flat washer followed by a lock nut. Then we'll hold our bracket up and we'll look for the hole that lines up on the other side. On ours, it's going to be the hole second from the front. We'll drop our bolt down with washer on it And again, place a flat washer followed by a lock nut on the other side. Now you want to verify you've got it centered and in the correct orientation. You'll know you have it the correct way if when you look here towards the center, it goes through the bracket straight and then starts to dip downwards towards the center. We'll then put our side links up and our upper frame brackets, slide our bolts in from the outside through the hole, and install the lock nut on the other side. Now we'll line up the lower end of our link with our sway bar, and just like we did up top, we're going to slide the larger bolts that come in the kit through the outside in and install a nut. We'll repeat this exact same process on the other side. We'll now tighten down our hardware. The bushing brackets will tighten down with an 11/16 socket and 5/8 wrench. And our end link bolts will tighten down with 15/16 sockets and wrenches. You don't want to tighten those too tight. You just want to make sure that you get it snug to where the bushing is flush. Now we'll go back and torque our plate bushing bolts, but these ones you don't need to torque. You just want to make sure that they're nice and flush. And with everything tightened down, if you removed your wheels, you can put those back on, and then you're ready to hit the road. And that completes our installation of Roadmaster's rear anti-sway bar on our 2012 Ford F53 chassis.